Always harm the people and put them in harm's way. I mean, this is wrong. People are hurting themselves over there because they want to have access to rice. The few who are having access to the rice, they have paid Grab even more than the money that they paid for the rice. The few people who are having access to the rice that you see, and we are confiscating the rice from them and auctioning them. I mean, we are not doing the right thing. The right thing that we need to do is to go to the warehouses, let the people make sure that the rice is available on the market, and people will not be able to be trucking the rice, and then we're confiscating the trucks and selling and auctioning rice. The warehouses, they're where the problem is. So whatever the problem is, whether it's with the government, that's the political side of it, since we say we want to address the issue, let us address it by ensuring that the people who have it stored in warehouses put it on the market and people can have access to it. So people can be paying bribe to have the rice, to have access to the rice. They have slept on in the cold for days, and somebody tell you, say, pay this amount of money. You have to pay to the office to have your money paid. You pay bribe. Before you collect the rice from the free port, you have to pay bribe. I mean, that's what they are going through, the market people are going through. So when they take the money, they themselves have to maximize profit. So as a result of that, they will take the money they paid in bribes, they add it to the value of, or they add it to the profit that they're supposed to make on the rice. So that's why you see people adding on to the rice, the prices of rice, the skyrocketing, because the few who are having it, they have already paid all of the excess money beyond what they anticipated of paying. So they have to maximize their profit. So let us make sure that the right things are done. Your Excellency, if people are placed into positions of trust and they are not able to deliver, let them step aside. There is no friendship in governance. Let us not put friendship in governance. That is the issue we are having. Too much friendship and too much the partisan thing has overshadowed everything about leadership. So as a result of that, because the person is part of my party, so I cannot do anything against this person. Because this person is my friend, so I cannot do anything to this person. That is what harming our country, and the people are languishing in abject poverty, and few persons are just downing and whining in the resources of the country. Your Excellency, let's do the right thing for the people of Liberia. That's what they want to see. You cannot do this to the people and they be hustling for rice. They want to pay for it. People want to pay for services, but they cannot have the services. The same thing with electricity. The people want to pay for electricity. They can't have it. So they have to be paying bribe to people and all around the place so that they can be funded. This is wrong. How do you intend to generate lawful revenue when you're not doing the right things, providing the services to generate the revenue? Your Excellency, these are things we want to bring to your attention. We want to talk about on the rice issue. The next thing we want to bring to your attention will be, like we said, the misinformation around this rice issue has to be resolved so that the people, Your Excellency, we want again to call your attention to the Ministry of Health. There is issue there with the Global Fund money. Your Excellency, where are we with this investigative report? We'll keep asking you because we are now in electioneering period, and journalists are going to be the one going all about reporting on election activities. So if these people are going to be in the field and working and they don't feel protected, that's where censorship comes in. So when people feel that they are not protected, they have to dance according to the tune of those people who have the power. So to make journalists to be independent, to make them to be free and feel protected to operate, to work freely, it means that when something, especially when the report that came up against brutality or from brutality against journalists, the findings must be released so that journalists know what happened. What was the thing? It is even alleged that some of the brutality led to the death of one of our colleagues, the late Zeno Miller. All of these things are still lingering, and the report came up. You cannot release the report. What's happening? What is so damning about that report that you cannot put out? We need to know. We need protection. We cannot operate in an environment that is not friendly to the media. We need to know what happened, in what the findings of that reports are. The reports, what are the findings there? Your Excellency, now that you've the city officials, the three Hebrew brothers, they call them, now that they have resigned, what next? Is it all? Are we done with that now? That is another their case. What are we doing next? That's the question we want to ask you. Okay, let's go strictly to our lawmakers. You see what can happen when people pass bylaws? You pass bylaw. We said this from the onset that this law was a bylaw, the new LACC Act. We said it. This was a bylaw, and I want to say congratulations and thank you to Councillor Edwin Clark Martin. Edwin Clark Martin, he has won my admiration. It takes an individual with integrity. It takes a professional. It takes somebody who is competent to stand up against people who believe to have power over them, to stand against and stand before them and say this is wrong. That's what Councillor Edwin Martin has done. This man, he was appointed. He brought up did investigations. He released those findings. People never felt good. They said even when they went to Banga for their retreat, they even humiliated him because people felt that he came up with a report that they thought was not correct, but he still stood by what he said. They went and they passed a law. The lawmakers, you passed this law. I'm not a lawyer, but lawyers have said it over and over and again that laws are not retroactive. Laws are progressive. When you pass laws, laws are intended to go ahead. They can't go behind. So you pass a law because you want to get at somebody, too desperate to get at this particular man. So you pass a law and put it, you say, immediately after the passage of this law, after the signing of this law into handbill, it takes effect. So the LACCP, the guys who are there, they are temporarily acting until their replacement can be recruited. And now, on the executive management website, they are recruiting people to go take over the LACC. Now, this man has come up and challenged this particular law. I want to say thank you, your Councillor Martins. This is what we need. We need individuals like Councillor Martin who will stand up against, stand up when things are not going right and say this is wrong, no matter who is involved. There are competent people, too many of them, who are working in this government because they want to please an individual. So they look at the right thing and they lie to these people and say this is right. They will not stand up the wrong thing. Rather, they look at the wrong things happening. They cannot stand up. They don't have the nerve to stand up and say no, this is wrong. We can't do this. This is what Councillor Martin has done. He has challenged this particular law. How will you have people in office? You pass a law in 2022 and the law takes effect in 2022. If this law is passed and the Supreme Court doesn't do something about this, if the Supreme Court doesn't do something about this and the rule in favor, whatever happens, I'm not a lawyer, so they can hold me in contempt. Whatever happens, if the Supreme Court doesn't do something about this and it becomes a precedent case that people can pass law and it takes effect the very year the law is passed, it's going to be seriously troubling. It's going to be troubling. When you pass bylaws, it comes back to haunt you. You see the kind of embarrassment you come in cause for our country? You see what you've done? We got people who supposed to be legal minded. And when people are legal minded, we thought that they should have all of the wisdom. That they could be able to look at this and say, no, this thing will do it like this. I mean, we're going to entrap us. And they look at it because the law came from the executive or wherever it came from. They say there a pass, so it passed. Now they're coming back to haunt us. You see what can happen? We said it here. We said your left passing by laws. These laws will come. These things will come by and haunt us. They will haunt you. When you move from that office, you become ordinary citizen. You yourself, you'll be affected by the same law that you pass. The same way you pass traffic law, that you have the right to take opposite lane. When you move from government, you become ordinary citizen, you suffer the same consequence. The same way we are suffering, you will suffer the same way. Because you're in power, you think that you will remain in power forever. You're not going to remain there forever. Stop passing bylaws. It's harming us than doing good for us. That's what we want to talk about. We want to quickly speak with the young people of Liberia. 2017, young people were, they constituted 70% of the voting population. Over 2 million persons who voted in 2017. Young people between the ages of 18 to 35 constituted 70%. It means that you have the power in your hands to make and break. Make democratically, that's what I mean. So you have that power, you have the population to alter any government through elections. But if you misuse it, if you abuse the power that you have, and you vote for people on the basis of likeness, on the basis of party emblems, on the basis of I mean, that person, the person that without evaluating these people, it comes back to haunt you. You see the people that we elected, some of them since they went there, they were never even spoken on the floor for more than 5 years. They have never spoken a word. And some of them, when they speak so trash. They didn't get anything concrete to offer. So trash. That's what they go forward. Some of them have who went there with too much with what who people believed in. They got there and they have now been baptized into the system, and they're now doing the same thing. The system has a way of corrupting people, but it takes individuals with credibility and integrity to stand against the system. You see some of the deception that can happen. People they now start passing around with making promises that they can never fulfill. I'm going to speak specifically to the former vice president. The former vice president is telling us that in 100 days, as part of his deliverable, he's going to start building roads across the country. When people, you politicians, stop lying to us. These are, I mean, we look at spade and call it a spade. Your Excellency, this is wrong. You can't do this, Mr. Former Vice President. How possible will you? Let's be fair. Let's be fair with our analysis. Let's be realistic about what we can do and what we cannot do. If you can't do this, don't promise the people that you can do this. And then when you get into power, you say, don't expect too much too soon. That the same thing the current government said they're going to do. They promised to do all of the things that they said they're going to do. They got in office. People started to ask them, hold them accountable. They said, you're expecting too much too soon. The expectations are so high. The same thing you're coming up with, you're making promises again. You're making promises again. Promises that you know very well, reasonably, you cannot fulfill them. In 5-6 years, you will not fulfill them. But you're telling us in 100 days it is possible. Don't do this kind of thing to us. You stop deceiving us. You need to be fair, be frank with what you can do and what you cannot do. Don't do that. We know the kind of challenges that we have. Even the system itself, before you rebuild the system to make it functional, it's not an easy thing to talk about moving about, to get things rolling out. It's not going to take you 100 days to get things happening. It will take you time. Don't make promises that you cannot keep. All of you politicians, I'm speaking to all of you, young people, you start evaluating these people and hold them accountable for things that they're saying. When they're not saying the right thing, ask them to tell you how. Let them explain how they're going to achieve this. with all of the different challenges, with all of the computing priorities, and you say you can do this in so and so period, I mean, we must be fair. Young people, be wise, think, be critical. Don't just accept anything, because if you allow yourself to be to just accept any garbage, I mean, you will be the victim. Thank you ever so much. We want to call this. That's where we want to stay. Where we want to stop, and we will take a break. When we come back, we will go over to the first person that we said today. We're going to be speaking with our county field officers. So yesterday we had conversation with them. They've been engaged with different activities in the counties, and today Bong County is Jeremiah Moy. Jeremiah Moy is in Bong County. We're going to be speaking with him right after our break. And in Nimba County, we have Melvin Swa. Melvin Swa is in Nimba. He's a county field officer in Nimba County. And last but not the least is Sylvester Vama. Sylvester is in Gbarpolu County. He's our county field officer. We're going to be speaking with him and asking them to tell us what are the things they've been doing of recent. The program is Integrity Watch. It's a 1-hour radio program brought to you by the Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia. It is aired every Thursday on ECOWAS Radio 91.5 FM. To our listeners, I think we have little slides in the time, so we'll be coming up maybe 5 minutes after 11, 5 minutes after 11 years because of the news. So please bear with us. That's until we can have further adjustment, but that is the schedule for now. 5 after 11 until 12 o'clock. So please be with us. And if you are following us online on the Integrity TV, please leave your comments. Thanks for being there wherever you are. Which part of the world you are, we say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. And please be with us. Let's have this conversation together. Let's take a break. When we come back, we go over to our county field officer, beginning with Jeremiah Moy. Let's take a break. Again, if you are just joining us, the program is Integrity Watch, the 1-hour radio program brought to you by the Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia. Like we said, we're going to be speaking with our county field officer. Let's now move over to Central Liberia in Bong County, where we have Jeremiah Moy to speak with us and tell us how is activities going there in Bong County. Jeremiah, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Zuta, and good morning to our listening audience.
Okay, let's start the way we can start. Yangwei.
All
right, let's go. How is Bong County doing?
Yeah, relatively Bong County is kind, and everybody is just moving on at normal business in Banga and Bong County as a whole.
All right. What are the things you've been doing recently?
Recently, in line with our different activities across the county, especially the National Integrity and Anti-Corruption Program, we've been having series of engagement with communities, and besides, we have to mobilize the community, have community entry, establish link with community members and stakeholders in the community, thereby implementing activity of the National Integrity and Anti-Corruption Program.
Okay, so would you mind telling us some of the communities you visited and the schools? How many schools, how many communities you visited so far?
Yes, recently we visited 3 communities especially for rural areas to carry out our activities. We were able to meet with community members, the young people, the elders, chiefs, women, to talk more about our national integrity building and anti-corruption program. And to be aware, corruption is actually a disease that is eating every fabric of society. So we've been able to talk to them about program, interact, and they also been able to express themselves about the way in which corruption is affecting their society in a different sector. So we have had activity with 3 other communities. Though they have some challenges, especially when it comes to meeting with community, rural communities. So the issue of the standing and power society. So this is one of the challenges. Also, the unity here as well.
Okay. So how many schools? 3 communities. How many schools?
For the school, we've been able to engage 2 schools.
Okay.
Especially for the Banga area. But for the rural areas, they are in community because most of the community they are in rural areas. So we then going all of Banga to have activity with the community. But for the schools, they are in Banga. And like I said earlier, corruption is not just about focusing to one area. So if we must fight corruption in our community, we should be able to engage every other citizen. Yeah. So we are working with students, so we've been able to engage the students, talk about corruption, talk about the impact of corruption, what they can do to fight corruption, especially in the school area, because remember that these young pupils or these young students who are in school, they will want to become national leaders, they will want to become stakeholders, they want to become parents. So if we instill in them the discipline of transparency and accountability, and also to develop integrity, we think it would be helpful for our community and also the nation as well. So we've been able to engage them, especially for our art club, how we can minimize corruption. What are those good practices they can have or they can institute, they can develop, thereby minimizing corruption and also having an example, becoming a positive change they want to see in a community about fighting corruption.
Okay, so when you engage these people, what's the momentum that you get? What's the feeling that you get from them?
Yes, engaging them, they are eager, especially when it comes to corruption issue. They are eager, and even based on our interaction, they are eager to listen to, even to participate, because they will always want to give their opinion about the impact of corruption in their different communities. For example, in one of the communities are engaged, they were concerned about the increased price in rice in the country. Yeah, they were very concerned, and for that community, especially they call it the Dimeta community, they had serious issues. They made specific reference to the increase in the price of rice in the country. So they were talking about it that it is not good, they're affecting them, and as something that they have to be addressed, and corruption is actually bad. So discussing corruption, the thing that it is affecting them in the community, and it is something that needs to be discussed, and not just at the community level, but at the national level, there should be action taken against people who are constantly involved in corruption at the national level. So they create interest concerning our different activity across the county, and especially even the participation of females. We can encourage the participation by asking questions that will make them to participate. So their interest and participation actually been impressive for the past week.
Okay, great. So have you had number of persons so far you've engaged with the 3 communities engagement, 2 schools engagement? Do you have numbers aggregated?
Yes, we have numbers aggregated with the number of people we have engaged. So we've been able to engage about unwanted practice in the community, especially for the community in the schools, talking to them about our program, and even working along with them. Because like some of them, they've been able to partially report minor corruption cases at the community level for some of the cases where they get something they call the community policing, where it could just with extra money from them before they can handle their cases at the police station. And even the issue of land acquisition, land issue, they are also been affecting them. Those are minor, they are reported partially. So we one thing we're doing, we are also working to do follow up to ensure that some of the cases are actually cases are already existing, and what can we do as an institution to be able to, because we are not any court to adjudicate some of the cases, but what we do as CENTAL is to provide legal advice ensuring.
Thank you. What else you want to add? I will ask you. Just add it quickly in a few minutes.
Yeah. So basically, I think the fight against corruption is everybody's business and is a continual process, and getting support from everybody to be able to report when there are minor corruption cases at a community level, to be able to report, and more besides, to be able to set an example in our community, get back, practicing integrity. And I think it will be good for our community.
Thank you.
And it will also be good for our country a lot.
Thank you. Thank you, Jeremiah. His name is Jeremiah Moy. He is the county field officer in Bong County for the Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia. He has been giving us update about his activities in that part of the country, engaging communities, 3 communities so far, 2 schools in the Banga area, and the people have been able to participate. They've been eager to listen and participate in the different processes. So next we'll go over to Nimba County, where we have Melvin Swa and as our county field officer. So that we hear from him what's happening. He's the ambassador in the county, making sure that he reach out to different parts of Nimba and the communities that we've targeted to work so that we can be able to do this work together. Like we said, the fight against corruption requires all of us. That is the reason why the county field officers and the national level staff, we are all engaging at different levels, making sure that we engage people across the different sectors, because we cannot do this alone as civil society. The government will never succeed in the fight against corruption, neither will the international partner succeed in fighting corruption in Liberia if Liberians and all of us don't work together to make sure that this happens. So that is why we are engaging at different levels to reach the message, pushing integrity building messages and making sure that everyone, we're engaging with schools under the integrity clubs, we're engaging with the community, local communities, and all of the people. So we have Melvin Swa on the line. Okay, we have Sylvester Vama rather. Sorry, Sylvester. We have Sylvester, so we now move to Gbarpolu County, where Sylvester Vama is the county field officer in that part of the country, and he's making sure that he's going to be giving us updates on activities in Gbarpolu County. Sylvester, what dialect do the people in Gbarpolu speak? Pele? Okay, Yaon. Why y'all not better different? Okay, let's hear you, Sylvester. How is Gbarpolu? All right, let's get. What are the things you've been doing? What have you been doing of recent? Okay, so how many schools have you engaged, and how many communities have you engaged so far?
Well, I've done full engagement in schools and full engagement in communities.
Okay.
Yeah.
You care to tell us some of the places you went, the schools that you went to, and the communities that you went to?
Yeah, the people were places I went to.
Yeah, please.
So I just went to the community. I visited Harris Town.
Okay.
Harris Town.
Okay.
There's a big town there about on the Fatama one concession I visited there.
Okay.
And Bong City.
Okay. So
also.
Great. So you're engaging with students. What the enthusiasm you see amongst these students when you having these engagements with them?
In fact, the students are saying that if this was happening before, they would restrict in Bbarpolu, in like as a whole, not in Bbarpolu. Because sometimes when you talk to them in the school, they all wonder like what happened to them.
Okay.
Paying money for grade.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about the communities? What are the people saying in the communities?
People are saying that even some communities are good, they are saying that why the project is going to few communities. I tell them the next time we go all over.
Okay.
Small. Can't just move all over and out.
All right. So you got the number of persons that you have engaged so far?
Yeah, when it comes to the school, the number of female engaged the school down from 52, and the boys are 54. So you check the normal total in the schools, average at 106.
Okay, 106.
If you come to the convention level,
yeah,
it's total bent down because the family time would have been sometimes very end of the school and go to the convention very beautiful in your family time.
Okay.
If you come to the regular convention with female 42, and you see the women is about 44, total is 56. Because you have a guy who has total one in the community. Yeah. And you see, if you check the grand total on this, we check the grand total of both schools and the community, we have talked to 172 person now in the community.
Wow. So what are the people saying about this issue about culture of impunity? From the other people that we spoke with, like Bong County, Bong County, the people are talking about ending the culture of impunity. What are people in Gbarpolu County saying to?
Yeah, I believe one community, when somebody signs contract with the community, they must be in the city, I don't know. So the contract was signed behind the door. So I asked them when I people go up, I said, we don't know. And the man who signed the contract was somebody who, for the pocket work, what if you are pocket work engineer in the county, they will sign contract of many people behind the door. In fact, the people are saying that the time they take to build the town hall for them, it will be 3 months and they are going 1 year, 2 months, and they say they want their money.
Okay.
Yeah, they say they want their money.
So the people are demanding for accountability from different people, contractors, and leaders.
Exactly. In fact, the same thing today, they can do something again, people in there. I'll see them Monday, in the morning, they engage them. Because I want for the whole time to be there. But I just want to get to one church. And with the youth church in that church, we're cheating. So we have a bad dedicated sorry. They are saying that they want their money for the town overdue. And they know who signed this contract.
Wow. So
yes,
the contract was signed, like you said, behind the doors and all of that. I think we're trying to follow up that. So let's leave that one. Okay. So what besides the engagement on Sunday, what else will you be doing?
Engagement on Sunday?
Yeah, you said you have another engagement planned for Sunday, right? Saturday or Sunday?
Yeah. Okay. Sunday, where is the committee of far from Bbarpolu?
Yeah.
And we need to put out throughout the week that committee is not going to sleep there. We don't get the people in the morning.
Okay.
So with the Sunday, sleep Monday, I just want to do what.
Okay.
But the committee is going to only even go to the morning farm. But the school is going to do it very early. We start from 7 for the farm that is in the schools. I just want to see Jenna go out, expect to come by 11 o'clock. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, Sylvester. What else you wanted to say? Maybe we didn't ask you. You can just provide us updates quickly.
I just want to say, I think this program, if I'm starting with CENTAL, okay, it's not to be doing this. Therefore, be here, I'm on the video to tell people that we are working. That will be enough for us.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. No, I know. From time to time, we try our best. We've been doing that. I think this is the first time coming on the radio, but we're going to be doing that frequently so that we can have updates from you on the radio. So thank you so much. Please go about, stay safe and do your work. Let's make sure that we make Liberia a better place and make Liberia a corruption-free nation.
For having me on this ECOWAS Radio, the radio that brought peace to Mama Liberia. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sylvester. So he's Sylvester Vama. He's our county field officer, and he's assigned in Gbarpolu County. He's been giving us update about activities in that part of the country. And he said he had 4 engagements with schools. So the schools engagements are done under our advocacy and legal advice, the Integrity Club, and then the community engagement are done under the Advocacy and Legal Advice Center. So we don't know whether Melvin is available. If Melvin is not available, then we will continue with the program and see whether we can connect with Melvin another time. So the program you are listening to is called Integrity Watch, the 1-hour radio program brought to you by the Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia. It is aired every Thursday on ECOWAS Radio 91.5 FM, and it runs from 11 to 12 noon. It's relayed on Prime FM in Monrovia. Melvin said he was on the bike. Melvin, I hope you are in a safe zone now to speak. Let's go to Nimba County, where we have Melvin Swa as our county field officer. He's assigned in Nimba. Melvin,
Thank you, Nimba. Good morning, Babu. And I hope those on our voice this morning are all doing great. And I'm currently reporting from Samico State to the provincial capital of Nimba. I'm happy to be on the platform this morning on ECOWAS Radio.
Great, Melvin. Let's get to hear from you. What are the things you've been doing of recent?
Thank you very much. One of the first days of the National Integrity City Anti-Corruption Program, and we especially want to express our gratitude to the central leadership for the level of training, the pressure they did for the Senate candidacy officer before the commencement of the third phase of the project. And since we return to the campaign, we have been carrying out some outreach activities at the school and also in the communities. But September, in Liberia is still a really busy month. So we found it a bit challenging to reach to several communities, but we managed to get to a community called Beba, one of the advocacy and legal advice center community outreach awareness program.
Mm-hmm.
One of the in the same month of September, we also managed to reach to schools, one of the integrity club, awareness activities as well. So for the ELAB awareness in Beba, it was conducted on Friday the 16th of September 2022, and that awareness brought together about 40 persons, with male constituting 15 and female constituting 25. And as usual, our discussion surrounded the ongoing National Integrity Bidding Project, and we also told them about the general impact of corruption and how states we can get involved in helping to make Nigeria a corruption-free society. And then we also went on the campus that the football were actually one of the schools that are currently part of our integrity club activities, and that activity took place on Thursday, the 29th of September, and we have 60 students. We attended for that particular event that day. And out of the students, we were happy to have a total of 38 to be males and 25 to be females. And so we completed September with another club awareness to the Divine Blessing this year elementary school that was just elevated to high school this year. And of course, we have our in that awareness meeting, we had the 6 persons. And out of that number, we have 42 to be males and 24 to be females. And we are currently on our way to the campus for the Studio High School, where we will also be what are the brief updates we have from Nimba at
So when you put the numbers together, do you have that tabulated already? The number of persons engaged and so.
The first meeting is total for 168 persons, and out of that 168 persons, we had we had 24 to be females, and we had 94 to be males. So we want to be zero for that.
And so this is the total under the both the Integrity Club and the ALAC engagements.
Exactly.
Great. So the number of communities and you say the schools are 2 schools you visited?
I didn't get the question.
The number of communities.
So now for our engagement this month, we hope to increase our number of communities on our ALAC, and we have already made the plan for the month of October that we do our solicitation to seniors as well. We will also reach out to say yes, the seniors will be under the art club. The yes community will be under the ALAC. We will also visit the yes public school, but we will also reach to Smoky public school under art club. And so this itself is a new community that has been created project last year. And so we want to reach to Smoky for the art club data awareness, and the art club awareness will also take us to post economy. And yes, and we hope that the data awareness will also take us to Smoky and mental respectively. Yeah, so we hope to keep increasing the number of awareness, especially in the community as we are now gradually approaching the draft season.
So Melvin, let's hear from you quickly. What are the things that people are saying? What are the things that are standing tall among all of the things that you heard from them?
Yes, right now, one of the big things the people, we hear people vying to get CENTAL in the fight against corruption, so they're making individual commitment, and some say it's because we are not honest to ourselves, like just like honesty, they like integrity, that's why
Let's think differently. Let's add a little different. We can change. We can have a different result. So that is what we are doing under the National Integrity Building. We also the school engagement under the Integrity Club, where we have university students have been trained and they've been engaging high schools, the counterfeit officers, like you heard from them, they are engaging schools, engaging students, engaging teachers, administrators, talking to them about integrity building. Then we have the Legal Advice Center where people can be able to, a mechanism that have been established for people to report corruption confidentially and have redress to corruption. So these are things that we are doing as the Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia. And we have this radio program that brings to you activities, what you need to know about the fight against corruption. Again, the program you've been listening to is called Integrity Watch. It's a 1-hour radio program brought to you by the Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia. It is aired every Thursday on Truth 96.1 FM, and it's relayed on Prime FM in Monrovia. It runs from 5 after 11 to 12 in the afternoon. So my name is Sam Zota. I'm the Media and Communications Officer at the Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia. My colleagues, Mark Boandao and Geraldine Wandi, have been behind the camera, making sure our visibility goes beyond the studio on Integrity TV. Join us next Thursday for another edition of the program. But still, the repeat is on Friday. Bye-bye.